Liberation greetings to all and sundry. My dear people of Amazonia, my people of the former UN Trust territory of British Southern Cameroons. Accept revolutionary greetings from me, or should I call it liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Nakuro, this Monday, January 16, 2023. Today, we are at the eve of one very important date in the history of our liberation movement. Some of you will definitely be watching this communication on the 17th of January, which is that day that in 2017 we redefined the people of the Southern Cameroons. You will recall that on the 13th, or rather that was on the 14th of January 2017, after an attempt was made on the life of Comrade Wilfred Tassang, following from the ad hoc committee meeting that was held on the 13th with some 6 ministers from Yaounde, and this meeting was at upstation in Bamenda. After that meeting, at which our comrades held tight, refused to budge onto the demands, the popular demands of the people of the Southern Cameroons, of Ambazonia, were met. And when they left, because it was a very hot day, hot because you definitely have watched a video that I put up 2 days ago, which was taking us down the lane of memory, so that we see exactly how the people of Bamenda, the youth, came out in tens of thousands and shut down the town to make sure Yaounde will not rid us of a rare opportunity to rewrite the wrongs of the past. Me, John Frundi, then, he still had his head on his shoulders, really. He went up station, the same like the late venerated barrister Bernard Muna. And you recall that day, Barrister Bernard Muna said, I am 77. My future is behind me. I can die tomorrow. The youths have to fight. Let them bloody fight for their freedom. He said again that our ancestors, our fathers, our parents will not come out of the graves to come and free us from the colonial domination and torture by La République du Cameroun. He said, we have to do it. And so it came to pass that when the meeting ended, late into the night, Comrade Wilfred Tassang was en route back to his house. And a convoy of bike riders decided to escort him all the way to his house. But the evil colonial administration of La République du Cameroun had sent soldiers to lay ambush somewhere between Tarikon and Hospital Roundabout and open fire on Comrade Tassang's car. They needed to kill him to teach a lesson to all the others to know they will go the same way if they did not yield to the pressure from the government. Unfortunately for the system, Comrade Wilfred Tassang was made to move in another car, and his car was in the convoy without him inside. And so when the policemen opened fire, they wounded 3 bike riders, and one was so seriously attained that the entire night at the hospital could not rescue him. I recall Comrade Tassang spent that night at the Bamenda General Hospital, where they battled to save the life of this young man. But alas, about 3, getting to 4 a.m. in the morning, he passed. He died. And so therefore, a meeting that had been scheduled for the 14th of January to say we at the consortium will temporarily call off the strikes and give the government of La République du Cameroun a certain time frame to respect some of the engagements that they had taken and address the core demands of the people of the Southern Cameroons, the people of Ambazonia. But because of that attempt on Comrade Wilfred Tassan's life, a meeting that was to take place at the church center in Bamenda on the 14th to talk about a suspension of the strike, rather was used to call for 2 more days of ghost towns to run from the 16th and the 17th of January 2017. And so therefore, it came to pass that on the 17th of January at 5 p.m. Central African time, the government of Cameroon decided to use violence and decided to go rogue and started calling the same people they were negotiating with just days behind terrorists. And that is how on that day they banned the consortium, they banned the SCNC, then they launched a manhunt for all of us. And the first people that got in the dragnet were comrades Fontemneba Afoteka and Barrister Akbo Bala. Those were the 2 that they were able to pick up immediately. Comrade Wilfred Tassan had the opportunity to go large, while every other person looked for an opportunity to stray off. But La République du Cameroun thought, they were convinced that by doing that, by bringing down the heavy hand and by arresting the ringleaders, they were cutting the head and the body will slumber in total confusion. They thought that Ambazonians were like the citizens of French-speaking Cameroon that don't have the bone to stand up for what they believe in. They erroneously thought that they had succeeded in, should I say, in hypnotizing everybody in the country, including us, to the point where the least show of force will get everybody running under their beds. They were mistaken. Completely mistaken. Absolutely mistaken. Because waking up in the morning of January 18, 2017, the government of Cameroon received the very bad news that the consortium had exported its operations abroad. And we had just picked comrades Mark Barra and Ivor Tapan to be the interim leaders of the consortium. How that happened is a story for another day. Because yours truly, I was standing in Yaounde where everybody was gone. La République, because we were still operating, everybody in the background, a good lot of us in the background, they did not know that I was still standing right there in their midst. So they were going to find that out very fatally, because from our vantage point, we had to coordinate. And I treated that letter that got Mark and Ivor appointed. That is how our liberation movement gathered steam, went from just, calls for a return to the federal system as existed in 1961 to a call by Wilfred Tassan of the consortium, with the consortium aligning with other movements that were already completely pro-independentists on February 9, 2017, to say we have to part ways. My people of Ambazonia. I'm recalling this because a few days back, some said the whole thing is over now. La République du Cameroun has won. I learned that the talks of La République du Cameroun were moving all over the place there, Bamenda, Oya, Kumba, Konotiti, making noise. It's finished. We have cleared all of them. They even went as far are spreading rumor to say that they had sprayed 400 million CFA francs to our comrade No Pity and given him a Cameroon passport so that he should escape and go and live abroad and abandon the liberation movement. All those talks about our brave hearts were simply meant to discourage people, to discourage those that have continued to stand strong, but they fail to understand that those of us who are determined to stand strong and to continue facing La République du Cameroun and La République du Cameroun only, that we're in a huge majority. That's why they even claimed that they had already given some 200 to 300 million CFA to 10 Kobo, and he had already received his passport and was even already out in the diaspora. I said in one of my recordings just a few days back that I know, and we should be accustomed to it by now, that the voices in the bushes are Southern Cameroonians. They are Ambazonians in the first place. And so therefore, they know the beliefs and customs of the people of Ambazonia. They know that towards the end of the year, during the Christmas and New Year feasts, people need to have a moment of free relaxation. So consistently, there has always been an unannounced Christmas ceasefire, truce, and usually unilateral. And so people easily misinterpret it to mean it's over. So I saw on social media everywhere, on some news organs, oh, it's finished, it's just now, everything is gone, it's dead and everything. But I got up this morning and I was looking through the papers and I saw a title, a headline. I said, oh my goodness, this is interesting. What a title. Separatists attack and dismantle Cameroon military base in Mamfe. That was from Mimi Mefo Info. Yeah, that was January 15. That was of yesterday, but I saw it this morning. I was like, okay. Few days back, they said, today we are hearing noise in Ekondo Titi, we are hearing in Meme, we are hearing in Boyo, we are hearing in Donga Mantum, we are hearing in Bui, we are hearing in Mezam, we are hearing in Gokutunja, everywhere once more. Few days after I said, don't be fooled. My people of Ambazonia, I'm doing this communication to remind each and every one of us that we must continue to stay woke. I had pointed out before that La République du Cameroun will crumble like a pack of cards, and that the time was so close, so nigh, but some managed to think that it could be bluff. I pointed out that this campaign by La République du Cameroun to eternalize itself in Ambazonia has led that country to commit economic suicide. So people thought I was kidding. I said it led that country to commit economic suicide. And of course, La République du Cameroun took its economy to the gallows. That is why today, you see them helter-skelter, adding taxes, multiplying some by 150 and everything. They will asphyxiate the people just because they want to own Ambazonia. And they will not. Those 2 cubes of sugar will never melt. Never. I said it. That progressively you will see how they descend. Today, a cube of savon, that used to be sold at 250, 275, 300, is now sold at 500 CFA, a whooping 500 CFA. Fiscal stamp from 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 1,500. Now, for the first time in a long while, the church, especially the Roman Catholic Church, that has consistently played for the government of Mr. Paul Biya, despite all the harm he has caused to the Christian church in Cameroon, especially to the Catholic Church, taking the lives of reverend sisters, reverend fathers, bishops at random for the first time in a long while at the 46th annual seminar in Ebolova, where all the bishops had their Episcopal conference. They raised an alarm over the suffocating cost of living. Take note of the choice of word. Suffocating cost of living. At least that's what I see on the Guardian Post. Bishops raise alarm over suffocating cost of living. That tells you, my dear brothers and sisters of Ambazonia, that for 6 years we have been consistent in pushing La République du Cameroon back to the wall. We have been consistent in breaking La République du Cameroon gradually to the point where every single household on the other side of the Mongo now feels the effect of the ill-advised campaign by La République du Cameroon in Ambazonia. The pain on La République du Cameroon is just beginning. I mean, the pain is just beginning. It is not going to be easy. And just so you know, they are going to launch public exams upon public exams this month. This January month, January, February. They will launch exams, even exams have not launched before. They will launch and launch and launch. And a good lot of those exams will give you the impression that you'll be hired into the public service. A good lot of those exams, the results may never even come out. A good lot of those exams, after at some point, they will even cancel the exams. But the objective is because they know that the rate of unemployment in that country is galloping well over 56%. La République du Cameroon will use that as a tactic to raise money by selling fiscal stamps. Because they know when they launch that, tens of thousands of desperate youth will be applying in hopes that they will get unemployment. Don't fall in that trap. Don't fall in that trap. It's a crumbling system. They no longer have a sense of direction right now. The hunter has become the hunted. The people of La République du Cameroon, we asked them long time ago, rise up. Tell your government to stop these incursions in La République du Cameroon. They thought they were dealing with us. But today, they are realizing much to their dismay that all those things have ended up being totally counterproductive for them. People are barely able to feed their families now in Cameroon. It's getting rough. Too rough. A lot of their talks are beginning to abandon the ranks and run. Last night, I was given the opportunity to talk to someone in Togo who was in a company of about 25 members of La République du Cameroon's B who were on their way, marching to they don't know where. That abandoned their weapons and everything everywhere and got assorted dresses, found their way through Nigeria. They've moved past Benin. They are already in Togo. They are heading out. They have abandoned because they said this thing is leading to nowhere. A lot of their colleagues have already lost their lives and they don't even know what they are fighting for. In my last communication, I urged our families in Ambazonia that still have a child or children serving within the ranks of the army of La République du Cameroon, be it in the B, be in the police force, be in the infantry, be in the air force, be in the marine, that the time for you to recall them to join their brothers is now. Because before long, they will be as lost sheep. Now, you see for yourself from what happened in Manfi, that even children, because some of those that lost their lives, you look at them, they are hardly 25. Some are even hardly 23. They pick you rapidly, they don't even have enough time to train you, and they throw you on the field to go and die. You go to die happily for non-Nigerians who can't even walk anymore. And they keep telling you that you are the future. My dear people of Amazonia, like I said before, and I'm repeating now, if you were not committed to this movement, this is the time for you to commit. If you had fallen back for one reason or the other, this is the time for you to clear your mind. Forgive whatever happened. Let us get our country back first. We shall have the opportunity to sit down, evaluate and assess who did what to who, and we will be able to make sure that justice will reign. But for now, let us focus on making sure we get La République du Cameroon out of our territory. They are already finished, but we have to get them completely finished and out of our territory. I want to congratulate all those on ground zero, everyone on ground zero, because again, this Monday, January 16, you observed the ghost towns. That weapon has contributed enormously in crippling the economy of La République du Cameroon. We will not relent. We have to continue in this same light until we attain our objective. I'm seeing some questions. Some asking, you came and told us that, what do you say? You came and told us that the leaders will be coming out to communicate about Canada. We have been waiting and waiting. What's happening? Well, let me respond to that very quickly. Regarding Canada, we will communicate. It will not be long. We will communicate. The simple reason we haven't communicated, that we halted again a little, is simply in the supreme interest of Amazonia. Serious work is going on. A lot of consultations, a lot of meetings here and there to make sure that when we finally come out to communicate with each and every one of you, it will be public. We will be out here together with the other comrades in the leadership, and you will be pleased with the account we will bring to you. For now, let's just be a bit patient again, just slightly patient. The delay is actually healthy. It's actually meant to maintain us in the right direction. And I want to thank each and every one of you for continuing to show maturity as you await gently to hear what we have to say when the time comes. I want to thank you again, and I want to say, please continue to support this liberation movement. Every sector of this liberation movement needs and deserves your support. Don't drag. Don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. Stay focused. Aduita continue.